What's good, everyone? I'll tell you what's not good. All Hallows Eve 2. Unfortunately, it makes me quite sad. And it really wouldn't make me sad because I expected this movie to be bad, but it started off actually kind of strong, and that got my hopes up a little bit. And then, wah, it just got worse, with the exception of like one short. But we got ourselves another anthology horror film. This one is only produced by Damien Leone, and that is as far as his reach goes, it seems. Unfortunately, it's sorely missing him. So, no Art the Clown this time. It's a sequel in name only, really, and not a very good one. But I decided to cover it because it is a sequel. It is produced by Damien Leone, so I figured I'd check it out and make a video about it. One thing that this does kind of have over the first one is that the overall technical quality is better. Looks better for the most part. The shorts are shot by different groups of people with different levels of technology, but all of them are pretty much better than the original movie. So that's a plus. They all sound better, which was a big problem with the first one. So it's more watchable, I guess. And there's not as much disturbing content, so I guess that technically makes it more watchable, although in a horror movie that's not really a good thing. So we got another anthology movie, and the setup is just so lazy and may as well not even be there. So there's this dude in a pumpkin mask that looks way cooler on the cover of the movie, the poster, than it does in the actual movie.
Hello?
And this fellow in the pumpkin mask leaves a VHS tape, once again, in front of this random lady's door that we don't get to know at all, and is barely in the movie. This whole part of the movie is just a bookend, really, with like very rare shots of just her reacting to the short films, whereas in the first one, it was like chunks sprinkled throughout the movie of the real world. There was a B plot going on there. Really the A plot. And it's honestly kind of a good thing that there's less of it in this one. They just focus on the shorts. But at this point, just don't have the real world stuff at all. Like, it was so pointless in this movie. It really just bookends it in the most dull way possible. I mean, the pumpkin guy just appears in her room at the end and cuts her throat, and then credits roll. I mean, it's like 30 seconds at the end, and like maybe 5 minutes at the beginning. It's just so dumb. But I guess I'll start talking about the good shorts now, which there were very few. So the first one I liked. It's Halloween. This family is making or carving a pumpkin, and they eat the seeds, and they're cursed pumpkin seeds. Ooh! And when they eat them, a pumpkin grows inside of them. Actually, a whole bunch of little pumpkins grow inside of them. And really, this might have been my favorite short, just because it was short and sweet, really, and had really good practical effects, really, with like the pumpkins like growing out through their skin and then popping and then spilling guts everywhere, and then vines growing out, reaching all over the place. It was actually pretty cool. I did like this one, and this is when it got my hopes up. I'm like, oh, maybe this movie won't be terrible. Then it mostly was pretty bad. Then we get to the second one, which I wanted to like it, but then I started realizing, oh, this is going downhill from here, isn't it? And it's the last Trick or Treat. That may actually be like Last Halloween. That might actually be what the episode's called. I think it didn't tell you the titles until the credits, but it's like this guy in this house alone. Well, yeah, I guess he has some of them. And all the walls are boarded up, the doors are closed, and he seems very on edge. And it feels very post-apocalyptic, but just in his house, because there are these kids out there trick-or-treating. I was like, what is up with this guy? Is there something more going on? And then he mentions, like, oh, they might be infected. Like, oh, is it like a zombie apocalypse or something? Like, they're zombie trick-or-treaters? Then they break into his house somehow using like magic powers or something, and the kids turn into the monsters that they're dressed up as. And the monsters look cool, but they still look like costumes, really. Like, they look like just better versions of the costumes they were already wearing. So it was kind of mixed there. And then, big reveal, all the buildings in town are on fire. I don't know what this means. It's implied that it's like the apocalypse or something. I don't know what caused it, but that's the last Halloween. And then the last one that I thought was good was somewhere in the middle. There were like a dozen shorts in this movie. Some of them were like 2 minutes long. Some of them were like 10 minutes long. They just fit as many as they could into this movie. This one, I think it was called The Boy's Life. I thought this one was pretty cute, really. It was just this kid who's scared of the monster under his bed, but he's kind of like, there's something more going on with how he might be having, like, trying to cope with his dad dying, and his mom also trying to do that and also help her kid out. And I thought that was really nice. And then, twist at the end, there actually is a monster under his bed. Like, he was trying to conquer his fear of, like, oh, there's nothing really there. And like the last twist at the end was, oh, there is a monster. It was solid. I liked it. It was definitely the best produced one. It was best looking, most part best audio design. It was solid. I liked it. Just not really worth watching this movie for, unfortunately. There was one short that I thought was I was pretty mixed on. It was a great idea, but it was super rushed, super horrible effects, and it just came out horribly. That's a real shame, because it's an interesting idea. What if a kid who had an abusive parent was given the opportunity to torture their abusive parent? Would they do it, or would they show mercy? And that's a really interesting idea. And it was so rushed with such bad effects, and it was kind of a weird idea, because this whole movie is sort of like PG-13 Goosebumps, and things just get like kind of goofy and they don't get to the point where they're scary. They hold back too much. And this one was just kind of goofy.
Stop! Quit crying like a little girl, Dad. Stop. Where's your balls? Stop! Sam, I'm sorry. Sam,
It felt like PG-13 Goosebumps, where he was just at some carnival. And it looked like mostly like green screen, like background effects or something, where there was only like one actual building there. And there's this attraction called the Masochist, and this guy has his kid's dad strung up. And there's you can throw torture weapons at this guy and make him bleed, and you earn more points the more blood you spill. It's just like, that's odd. It could work, but that's odd. And then, like, you don't even know this kid's been abused or anything until he finds out this guy is his dad, and then he's like, Dad? And then he like looks at himself and he has a bruise, and it's like, oh, it's implied he was beaten or something. And then he chooses to just torture his dad, and it's over. Like, it was so horribly paced and just poorly made. And it was a good idea, and I wish they had a better chance at making it. Unfortunately not. And then two of the other shorts, what were they? There's this one, it was like 2 minutes long. Looks like it was made for $5. The neighborhood weirdo kidnaps people and uses them as Halloween decorations. That's it. It's over in like 2 minutes. This guy has like 2 hostages. They're in Halloween costumes, and he kills them and then just lays them out like they're dummies. That's it. It was just dumb. It's kind of a funny idea. Could have been done well, but it wasn't. It was just bad.
This one is like so real. It's like, is this a real person? I'm just kidding.
Then the last short was like all in Spanish. It was just seeing a Facebook Messenger chat, and it was all in Spanish, so I couldn't read that. It was all reading. Didn't really know what it was, didn't really care. And you get to the end, it's kind of a knockoff of The Ring, where there's like a girl coming out of a computer with a bit of a twist there. It was kind of cool, kind of a cool effect. A completely mess short. And what? I skipped over the third short. It was okay. It was a good idea. There was these father and son go out into the woods and sacrifice to some forest deity or something, and they forget to bring the meat. And so the dad tricks his son into going out there alone and sacrifices him, but you don't ever get to see the monster, and it's like all this build up with no payoff, and it just feels like, what was the point? Why did I watch this? Why did you put it in the movie? And dad just drives off and he's like, oh, he's crying and goes away. Who cares? So just an overall very disappointing movie with very lackluster shorts. 2 or 3 solid ones in there, but not really ones worth watching the movie for. Maybe you can find them on YouTube. So unfortunately, can't recommend. Bad movie. I give it a 5 out of 10. So unfortunately, that's all. Can't recommend. But that's all I got for this sad hate review. Thanks for watching.